Lead, inspire, motivate, and empower. Welcome to Lead with DX, your guide to digital transformation in a complex world. Here are your hosts, Lars Jeppesen and Wasantha Wirakuni, the founders of Tech One Global and Enadoc.
Good day! As we are now into the new normal in which we experience the need for a remote and secured hybrid workplace, how do you manage your HR files? How do you stay compliant on document audits? And how do you make use of document management to drive measurable business performance and growth? Welcome to Lead with DX first episode about HR on audit, compliance, and documentation. Over to you now, Boss Lars and Boss Wasanta.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I would start out with a correction to the otherwise, superb intro. I think, we don't call it now HR anymore. And I think that's really something that has been accelerating with the pandemic and different type of workplace we have today. I mean, and it suits very much with the topic of this specific talk, because we now call internally in our company and many other companies, we call now the HR department people and culture, which kind of reflect also that the administration and accounting kind of work of HR should no more longer be the focus. But of course, it still is a very important part of running the people function, because we are dealing with a lot of compliance and legal issues when we have to do with our team members, our employees. But in the focus of the function, these kind of things should have been kind of automated or made digital. So the digital transformation kind of have already led that process into a kind of a sidetrack where the humans in the people and culture department, the real focus for them should be, the well-being of the employees, the employee engagement, the recruitment, the retention, and the strategy of the business. I don't know what you say, Vasanta.
If I just wanted to take a bit of different perspective to, I just came 20 minutes back. I onboarded two people digitally in the company. Remember, for the last 16, 17 years, you and me, we had this the vision or basically the dream of having a fully distributed organization, and we were never being able to achieve that on easily. But today, I onboarded two people who are 200 kilometers apart from each other on a single call, and they have access to our systems, by end of the day, and they have access to all the important files and documents and everything, for them to work remotely. Now, this would have not been possible. Actually, not the technology. I think the pandemic brought us in to realize that, we can do this. So I will take my start from a different perspective, a little bit different from you, saying, what we have bbeen driven by today is the not the technology but the actual need of doing it, and so I think that's how I wanted to start.
Yeah, I think I'm not disagreeing. I think it's basically two sides of the same coin, because being able to welcome every single employee in a company is a part of our new normal, right? And it's a benefit of how we do things, because we could also have done that, as you said, 2 or 3 years ago, but we didn't. But now we are doing it because we feel it's important to manage our company culture. We need to engage with people early on. And before, when I, like any other, business executive, both you and myself, spend a lot of our time traveling. And when we go to some place, I remember sometime in Sri Lanka, we have kind of 4 different locations. We have 2 locations which are actually technically in the same building, but 2 different companies or 2 different offices. And then we have another office somewhere else and a third office somewhere else. And sometimes you have gone there and you have not even seen anybody from the other office. I spent maybe a week in Sri Lanka and I only went in one location. But now I'm going to every single location of the company almost daily, and I think that's a great move forward in our digital transformation. It's not much to do with the topic of today, but of course, the benefit of being connected and having the systems connected means that you can talk to people, you can get things done, even if you are not in the office. And I mean, I had a fun experience the other day. So every week I'm doing this town hall meetings. Since actually that's also something we have not done before. I could have done like town hall meeting for the last maybe 6-7 years online based on the technology available, or we could have connected people with Skype or things in the future in the past. But we felt it was necessary to do it now to again make the culture alive. So what happened is that, as a part of my day, my weekly town hall presentation, I give an update on the new employees, on the employees who have anniversaries and any promotions. So what happened that last week or the week before was that I got a list of the people with anniversaries, and one employee, I was wondering, this guy has an employee has a anniversary of 8 years with us, but I know that he has been with us longer than that. So he must have there must be something wrong in his record, or there must be something different. So I sent a message in Teams to our HR, our people and culture a person in Sri Lanka, and said, this Ranjan, I think he's been with us for more than 8 years. And she said, I don't know, let me check. And I can tell you, I will be happy to anybody who will want evidence. Within less than 2 minutes, I can show the screenshot. She came back, she says, yes, that's correct. He has actually been with us, I think it was for 13 years or 12 years, but he was previously employed in a different office. So I said, okay, fine. So I could now update my spreadsheet and congratulate the Ranjan on his let's say 13th or 14th or 12th anniversary, instead of telling him happy 8th anniversary, and he would be sitting there and feeling a little bit lost. Then I asked Nirosha, who was the one I talked to, so how did you find this information so quickly? And she said, oh, it is in a NetDoc. It was his previous employment contract. I said, nice. Okay, by the way, where are you? She said, I'm working from home. So actually, it ticked all my boxes, right? Because we could get the employment engagement done the right way without, telling a wrong information. And she could get this information because we have digitally transformed our people and culture function during the last few years as well. So I think end to end, those are the benefits. Of course, when it comes to the compliance and the audit, we have the documents ready if somebody needs to find them, not only for a town hall presentation, but for any kind of use, right?
Yes, absolutely, Lars. Lars, how about the things that we don't know, like expired, passport copies or expired contracts, and I think pandemic has given new challenges to people and culture departments, as well as it has given new opportunity to do the same thing in efficient way, right? I think you are the one who initiated this process, to implement internally, even for us. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to use our own system. So of course, we have started out by implementing NetDoc in our HR function, along with some other tools we are using there. We even during the pandemic, we developed a new NetDoc sign to be able to sign documents inside NetDoc. But I was just thinking, like, okay, an expired document. Okay, what's a big deal? Okay, isn't it the employee's responsibility to make sure that they have an expired passport, or that they have an expired document that they should, come back and tell here's my new version, right? But what if your company is operating, for example, a hotel or restaurants, and according to the new health regulations, all employees need to be vaccinated? How can you make sure that you actually have a vaccination card on file for every employee without, having a digital process? So that is kind of things what you enable in a digital world, is that you enable something that you couldn't do before. You can not only have a copy of that vaccination card for every employee, but you can also have a dashboard saying, do I have any vaccination cards or any employees without a vaccination card, right? So you can follow up with them, because at the end of the day, it will penalize the company more than it will penalize the employee. So end to end, those solutions are required and they're important. That's what we have seen, and I think we have basically been leading mostly in this area, our customer offering, by doing it ourselves first, right? We have come up with ideas. Now we have a new function to sign documents in Teams and things like this, not because necessarily we are looking for where's the opportunity to sell that, but how can we use it first? And of course, that's a great story when a salesperson talks to a client and say, oh, by the way, we are also eating our own food, and the one we cooked in the kitchen. So the solutions we make ourselves have been to great use in our HR, I feel. And with, for example, with this compliance and audit connection and requirement, we have created a dashboard that has enabled that. And I think those are the real values that you start to see. And I hope that other people and culture functions can move the same way, because it means we have more time to take care of the employees. And they need more time these days because they are alone at home, and they need more of coaching. I don't want to use but I'm still going to use the word babysitting, because babysitting, you need to take care of your babies, of your employees, of your family when they are at home alone and you don't know what's happening to them. So this technology allows us to free up time to do that and not be relying on ourselves to physically go and do stuff that could be automated.
Yes, Lars, so one of the things that I have noticed in the past 2 years is a lot of people working remotely get a chance to burn out easily. So the new role of peoples and culture departments are actually going from traditional bookkeeping and other motivational stuff to keeping a track of how people are, whether they are over consuming themselves,
Yes.
or whether they are, and then on the other hand, also some people need some sort of supervision. Without guidance, they can't be self initiated. So their role has moved from where they are to there's, I think, a big shift on the role of the people and culture department. So having said that, their original responsibilities have never diminished. They exist. So there should be some tools to automate and make it easier the existing traditional workspace what they had to contribute. But the new responsibilities, they need to really engage and understand that one to find solutions.
Absolutely, and I think you have to take a few hours off or a few days off and rethink that whole function and see, okay, what is the requirement I have from a compliance point of view? Things that I need to do. Okay, we need to comply with the labor department, Department of Labor, whatever it's called, requirement, right? We need to have these documents for every employee. We need to have this process in place for administrative purposes, in our process. And when people leave, we need to have the documents ready to support them to move on, or they retire and whatever. So those functions, as you said, they have not changed. In fact, as we are now, everybody is digitally transformed. Personally, we expect our company to be able to do those things with the minimal effort, right? I mean, we are not expecting anybody to spend, 4 or 5 days shuffling paperwork to do something. We are expecting the organization should be modern, right? They should have updated themselves along with the rest of the society. So it's not only a matter of getting things done, it's also a matter of being seen internally as an employer that cares about those things because it helps everybody else. So that's absolutely there. And then, of course, on the other hand, the point of being able to support your employees when they need it, and so probably also when they don't think they need it. I heard just I'm from Denmark, in case you didn't know, and I have this habit of turning on the Danish radio in my house, especially in the morning, because it's nighttime in Denmark, and most of the time they just play music, so there's no other thing going on. But of course, every hour there's a news. And one of the news that they were talking about is that with the new style of working, with remote working, more and more companies are offering also part-time work, where before it's not really practical for an employee to commute 2 hours to go to an office and work for 3 hours and then have lunch and go home. But that is now a practical way. So we can accommodate people with other needs. When I say other needs, I don't necessarily mean special needs, but even people with special needs who are fully capable of working but have a difficult time commuting, or who have elder parents in care, or who have other responsibilities that they need to take care of part-time at home. So it completely changed the whole paradigm of how we work and how we can do our business, but we still need to follow the rules, right? So that's where the backbone needs to be rock solid. It needs to be as automated as possible, so we can spend our time on what's important.
I have millions of things.
If not, I can say something controversial to spark some comments.
I have million things to say. I know this is a very interesting subject, so we can talk about this. As usual, you say that till cows come home, right? But yes, I totally agree with what you've been saying, Lars. And in fact, I think this is a subject we should have more sessions about. Like this morning, I was having a meeting with our peoples and culture. They were talking about an interesting aspect of this, how much people hear, when you have a conversation, on this conversation, people, what they hear is only our words, right? And in many part of our social gatherings, we only hear 30% of the actual conversation. The rest of the cues and other vocal tones and other things are the one which communicates. So organizations do have a huge problem with dealing with the communications when people have to work remotely, because the means of communication is become quite digital only, right? And I think there are tools, that should be used to support these kind of communications more rock solid, so people hear or people understand what others are saying. So I think these are part of the things that we have been working on, right? Like including Teams to other tools that what we are using are helping us doing that one. I think I don't know whether you wanted to emphasize on that, but I think the whole culture of an organization, working remotely, needs to have many tools that supports improving communication as well.
I mean, that's fine. I don't disagree with any of that. That's all the cool stuff. Let's talk about the boring stuff. Let's talk about the stuff nobody wants to talk about. The paper. You know,
You always want, you always say that I need to.
we want to talk about all this fun stuff, and then we forget the most important part of all of this is that the backbone of any organization is the information to govern that organization, right? I mean, I can just see, for example, here so I'm based in the Philippines. I came here, I moved here in 2009 until today. We probably had at least 4 or 5, maybe even 6 big scale natural disasters. When I say a big scale natural disaster, it means that country did not face a whole countrywide disaster, but a region in this country was wiped out. What happened to the employees in those companies when they come back and say, can I get this document or that document? What happens to the employment contract? What happens to all of this stuff? It's an obligation of the company to keep those things safe, but they cannot be safe if you cannot guard yourself in a natural disasters. It cannot guard yourself against all the day-to-day tear and wear and the workings of an organization. The only way to move forward with a digital transformation of your HR function so it can become a people and culture function is to digitize it. So I think that should be the bottom line, is that what we have learned internally is that digitizing our own HR function enable us to rename it people and culture, and then focus on that rather than to focus on the very necessary but boring stuff.
How about the digital approvals, remote approvals?
What about no approvals?
Yes,
What
that's a
about
bigger
more
problem.
empowerment? What about more empowerment? That people can take some decisions. I think that's important as well, right? But of course, approvals should be easy to approve. Why should it be complicated for me as a CEO of a company to approve stuff? If I agree, let's do it. If I don't agree, then I will say it right away. No need for long, complicated processes. I want to know if I am approving, money transfers or payments, the things have been checked and things are properly audited. But other than that, it should be a matter of saying, yes, let's do it.
Every employee in this process was not easier those days, right? It was expensive affair for people to engage every employee into but every employee has at one point of time required to sign some documents and respond to those.
Yes.
So I think that is also one very important thing for a sustainable organization in this current environment.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everybody needs to be a part of the process, and of course, at the end of the day, every single employee needs to make some decisions and sign off on something. If nothing else, at least their own leave and things like this. They need to apply for their own leave, and the manager needs to approve it. They need to sign compliance documents and policies and so on because the organization need that. So, and I'm sure they will also happily sign the employment contract or a new job position that they have received and things like this. So yeah, definitely everybody is a part of that. But it doesn't mean that we should not kind of push it to the side and just get it done, because the other thing requires much more depth of yourself, right? Thinking, it requires your head and your heart to manage people and culture. How do we as business owners ensure that our concept of a good company is filtered through the different layers of the organization? I think digital transformation is a tool for that. It has helped us to engage with more people. I mean, I'm personally a part of maybe 5, 6 teams that is including very junior people in the company or people who have very recently joined and who would never have talked to a CEO of a company in a normal situation. So it's a different world. It's not a new normal. It's the now normal. That's how it will be, right?
So this has given us a lot of opportunities to interact with everyone in the organization. Actually, especially people who are joining new. That's something we did not have time. I think that the time that is saved from people to working remotely or working from home has a significant impact on individuals' life. Personally, for me, I really feel that that less travel has made me more. I can work better because less traffic makes me really upset. But one of the biggest challenges I had as working from home was signing documents and communicating with people. Maybe sometimes even having access to some of those documents to make the decisions, right? And now, of course, it is less and less evident these challenges because most of our documents, like including finance and HR or people's got digitized. So we have less and less problems in terms of making those decisions. But I think still a lot of people out there who is having core systems of their organization is they are digitized, but some of the supporting systems are not digitized. So they, to make decisions, they still have to, go back to office. Kind of situations we used to have that as well. Even though even in current situation, sometimes we had to do because we could not do it 100%. So I think my suggestion is, every organization should look at it as quick as possible because doing it 100% is not easy. There are some challenges. to make it happen, especially in current times?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge we had in terms of digitizing is that it becomes an additional burden on the existing team that you have, right? I mean, if you have 4 people or 2 people or even one person responsible for your HR function, your people and culture function, and now you ask them to digitize the files of the last 10, 15 years, or some companies maybe more than that.
It was not their job. It was not their job.
It's not their job, and they they have to do their job at the same time, right? So I think what we have seen, the most successful of our own clients are the one who decide to outsource that. And we have we have this BOSS service, business outsourced scanning services, where we actually provide this service. So your team can do what they're supposed to do, and then some people who have experience in that job will do it, and they also have no association with your company in terms of confidential information. It's like your bank knows what transactions you are doing, so that's how it works, right? As a company certified at the highest level on security and compliance, do the job for you, so you make sure that the documents are captured in the right format. This morning, somebody sent me an invoice in my email with a 25 megabyte attachment. It was just a small handwritten manual invoice. Imagine, that you have to go through in your organization to scan, thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of documents. You have to get the settings right. You have to get the images clean. You have to make sure that they can print well in the future and they follow standards, right? I mean, you cannot store them as a certain file format. It has to be stored as a certain specific archival-proof file format. And then all of that is done in a compliant and confidential way. It's not something you just give to anybody. So, as an organization who have scanned literally billions of documents, we offer that service as well. So I think if you are considering a document management solution to solve your audit and compliance requirement, consider also how are you going to capture the documents, right? I mean, how are you going to make sure that the system has information which is required? And I think that's a success factor as well that I have seen. So all in all, I don't know, we could talk the whole day about these kind of things, but I'm sure that I think we have reached really the point is that you need to get your organization digitized, because otherwise you cannot go through the rest of the digital transformation process, and you cannot convert your HR department into a people and culture department if they are busy, doing paperwork.
Yeah, Lars, so I want to just cover one thing. You said about this wrongly captured image, right? 25 MB, what you received. So I remember this the saying, that wrongly captured image is the cholesterol of the your business network. So I want to just mention that many.
Yeah, absolutely. I can check my emails. I have that 25 megabyte, and whenever I bought something from that supplier, it's always the same thing, right? I mean, and every time I told them, but they are not doing anything about it. I wonder what their email server looks like. Talking about cholesterol, right?
Absolutely.
So we had conducted this survey about HR 201 files for the Philippines, boss, and we got a lot of insights about the challenges of HR. And this is one of the main reasons why we are conducting this kind of session, boss. So can you invite our audience or our listeners to download a copy of that white paper, and we will include that in the final copy?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to make a point on that first, that we did the study in the Philippines, and in Philippines, an HR file or personnel file is called a 201 file. But as per my experience, and I am happy and proud to say that is almost like 25 years of experience in this industry. The responses we got are pretty universal for any organization's HR in anywhere in the world which I've been dealing with. So it was replied in the Philippines, but it's valuable information. You can download it by going to our website, and we'll put the link in the title or in the comment or something of this session. And go there and download it, have a look at it, and if you have any questions, please either comment in the channel where we are posting this. We'll be posting this podcast both in different podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple and others, but also we are going to post this in YouTube as well. So if wherever you are watching or hearing this, there's no video, so wherever you are hearing this, there will be a link to download that document. And if you have any comments, feel free to ask those comments and we will get back to you definitely. And also feel free to connect with us in LinkedIn, Vasanta or myself, or Mimi, or anybody else in our company. That's a good active platform for us to use as well. And with that, I'm not going to say anything anymore today, whatever you will ask me.
Boss Vasanta, do you have any further closing message for our listeners?
I think we said enough, so we will meet next time and we'll discuss these things further. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you for organizing it. And thank you, Lars.
Thank you, Vasanta. Take care. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank
Bye.
you, boss. Thank you, boss Vasanta.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, this is Lead with DX. Lead, inspire, motivate, and empower through digital transformation. Keep posted for our new episodes. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to rate and review our podcast, and be sure to subscribe to get the latest updates. Let's talk again soon.